On.
Where is
I'm hooked in.
YouTube?
I can't hook into us either.
There it is. I can't find YouTube.
Oh, you're so useless.
Yeah, well, these stupid icons seem to disappear all the time. We got Stephen and Walter live April 11th. I don't see.
Well, that's what April 11th. That's wait. Okay, we're on now.
Yeah, but
Hi, Mary. Hi, Donna.
How much of a delay is there?
I don't know, but that's not. We can't judge it by that, as we figured out last week. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to hook into my iPad here, and it's not.
And you keep getting this. Please check your video resolution.
Yeah, forget that. That doesn't matter. I have discovered that that means nothing. Hi, Jeannie. So, Donna, Mary, and Jeannie, can you see us right now? Why can't I find us online?
I can't find it either.
How come they found us? This drives me nuts. Hi, Angel. Hi, Laura. Yeah, Jeannie says yes. Donna says yes. Okay. We just can't see ourselves. At least not on our equipment. Just give us a moment, people. We're trying to figure this out. Okay, come on. Well, I can't connect on here, and I don't know why.
I was going to run up and get my iPad because I can't do it on my phone for some reason.
Well, my iPad doesn't seem to be connecting in. Hi, Wendy. Oh, Don, I just realized I forgot to do the notification that I usually do. I've been on a retreat all weekend, a virtual one, and I forgot all about that. Sorry. Oh, I'm a mess. And for some reason, I can't see ourselves on here except what I'm seeing through YouTube. Hi, Judy. Hi, Kathleen. Okay, well, as long as you can see us and you can hear us, then I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm hoping I've worked out the bugs. This is a new bug at our end. And I don't know. Are you settled now? Look. So I'm not sure what's going on. That's not what I want. So just bear with us for a moment or two, please. Stand by. Well, I can't see us or anything. I don't know why I can't. Have you?
I can't find my oh, there it is.
Jeez.
Never find it on this stupid iPad. Couldn't move it to the front. Oh, thanks.
Well, we're not showing up on our iPads. There we are there. Yep, that's it. So maybe that's what I have to do. Okay.
Sorry to ignore everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, there we are.
So I'm just going to do this.
Baked cereal bars made with real simple ingredients. Try it today.
Yeah, it's fairly current. There's only a slight lag.
Oh, okay, that's good. See, what we're seeing at our end, just so you know what we're doing here, is we're using this program called OBS, which a lot of YouTubers who do lives do this. But we're seeing supposedly what's going through YouTube. Also, we're looking at ourselves in real time on our laptop below. And it looks like there's a 2-minute delay on what we're seeing on the YouTube one, but if we
Actually, I
watch
think
it,
it's more like a 5-minute delay.
yeah. And we wondered if that's what was happening to you guys. But now we're hooked into our iPads, and no, the delay is only about a second or 2 seconds. So, anyways, yeah. Okay, so we've got it all going. Just don't look at ourselves up there. So anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, okay. Let's do what's been going on today. Today, who was it? Who told me they didn't get a notification? Donna. Yeah, the reason no one got a notification today is I usually do those notifications first thing in the morning and put them up on YouTube. My little teaser for the day. I forgot all about it this morning. I got doing other stuff, and I've been on a weekend, a virtual retreat with the quilting group I belong to online, the Quilter's Way. And that started on Friday night, and it's still going on right now, but I dismissed myself from it so we could do our thing here. And I guess between all of that, I forgot to do it. I'm losing it. What can I say? Okay, what are people saying here before we get into things? Had to exit YouTube and go back in to get you on my iPad. No problem with my phone. Okay. Yeah, iPad seems to be okay. That was interesting that you told us that, Donna, because I have a problem with the iPad too. Now, for some reason, I just went into a search for myself and I found myself. So I don't know what that's all about. And Laura says, I got a vaccine date for the Pfizer dose. Oh, so Laura, is that your first shot? And when do you get it? So anyways, so talking about my mother. Okay, so they're starting the plans for moving her into the new nursing home. I think we have the confusion that my mother seemed to think she was having. Well, they were thinking my mother was having. My mother wasn't confused. My mother knows exactly what's going on. But anyways, I think we have all parties concerned satisfied now that everybody is on the same page, and that's a good thing. Oh, your first one's April 26th. Okay, well, that's coming up. That's good. So that's fine. I had to talk to my mother about it a little bit more, and I said, like, Mom, okay. She was confused because she's had in her mind, she's fixated that she wants to go into this home in Whitby, which is the town next door to us, and that's where I grew up and where my mother has spent most of her life. And the new place is located in Whitby, but it is not the one that she's fixated on. Now, the one she's fixated on is very nice. It's fairly new as well. It actually replaced an older building that they had for years and years and years. And anyways, I don't know why my mother is fixated on that one. But I finally told her, says, look, Mom, you can't get into that one. You're being well treated here, well looked after. Actually, I think a little bit better looked after than she would be in the other one. And I said, you're going into a brand new home. You know, nobody will have ever been in your room. Brand new facilities, all very modern, not like this place you're in right now and everything. So
the new place is run by the same corporation, same, no, it's not a corporation, it's a same group of people or whatever, same
same outfit, same organization
as the one that she's in now. So we like Andy. The way it runs right now and everything, and so we already know what we can expect from them. So why not stick with them rather than go to another organization?
Exactly. Well, yeah, she seemed to understand all of that, and she was fine with it. But luckily, the staff person who was just making sure that I wasn't taking my mother for a ride or something like that. I mean, that's just her job. They know that's not truth, but I mean, they've got to, cover themselves and everything. I think she was satisfied that my mother understands what's going on. So anyways, they just put up pictures, sort of a virtual tour of the new facility. It looks very nice. It's not, of course, they haven't got all the furniture in it yet or anything, but I thought, and this is where things could go terribly wrong, I thought I would show you what we have seen if you're interested. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my camera over to
Uh-oh.
the website. Yeah, and I'm going to hope for the best. Just a second. This is where I want to go. And well, hopefully this is going to work. This is a good sign right here. So let's see if it comes. Oh, it does. Yay! It came up on screen. You should be seeing it right now, and you should be able to hear us too. Unfortunately, actually, you can see the comments are there.
Yeah.
So let me know if you can see a picture of a big industrial bathroom in a hallway right now. And then I continue.
Yeah, somebody could comment just to make sure that we can hear. You can still
That you're
hear us.
seeing what's on the screen, that what we're seeing.
Yep.
Yay! Okay, that's a good thing. Okay, so they've done this as a 360 degree kind of thing. So yeah, bathroom's real exciting. I don't know why they started with that picture, but they did. And you know, this is the bathroom where they the bathing area basically for them, and very modern, very big. The tub looks huge in here too as well. Yeah, my mother never seems to complain about that somebody else is actually helping her bathe.
Well, she doesn't complain about using bedpan either, so.
True. So, you know, if people will look after her bodily functions and keep her nice and clean, I guess that's happy. So here would be sort of the type of room my mother's going to be in. My mother's going to be in a private room. And, of course, right now it's bare bones. But she's going to have a big window. All the rooms have great big windows in them, which is kind of nice. Now, this one looks like it's on the ground level. So I don't know if she'll be on the ground level or if she'll be...
Yeah, she could have almost any kind of view in the one that
Yeah.
she's got.
And this is her bathroom, although, as you've already heard us say, she doesn't really use the bathroom. I wonder, can I go, oops. There you get another view of it. I mean, it's basic, but, you know, we'll get a few things put up there. Now, I wonder why there's a big outlet up here.
Because probably they were supposed to have an outlet in the bathroom,
Oh.
according to building code.
Oh, okay.
And they just put it up there. Who knows? Maybe they use it to plug in a lift or something.
No, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe it's just up there so to keep out of reach of the residents.
Here's another shot of the bedroom coming up. So it looks like the beds are electric. The ones in the home she's in right now are all done by crank. Can I get that down there a little bit? No, that's blurry. But it's not a huge room, but I have never seen the private room she's in right now in the other home, and I imagine this is probably about the same size, but there's plenty of room. There's room to get a chair in there, her television set, everything like that.
It's about the same size as the private room my mother had when she was in.
Now, it doesn't look like they have a wardrobe in here. They'll probably have a night table or a dresser maybe over there, because they're still in the process of getting the room all fixed up, and then access out here to the hallway. I don't know how far this thing will let me go in that. I guess it won't. So now this would be an example of a semi-private, and there is, I think, I can't tell, but I'm assuming there is, because of the design of other homes that are newer that we've been in, that this, oh yeah, there, you can see it. This is a solid wall right here where the curtains are. So you see, this is the entranceway to the one room, and it's just a curtain they pull over, and they have a common hallway. Let's see if I can...
And I think that spot
Yeah.
at the back is a common bathroom.
Oh, here where it juts out. Yeah, so there's a door on either side. Which, you know, in a sense, those rooms are cheaper, and it's still relatively private. But I got my mother into a private room in the other place, and, you know, I don't wish her on anybody.
Well,
So-
not only that, she can turn her TV set up, blaster set TV sig.
Yeah, that's true. So now their food area, see, everything is on the same floor. So their kitchen facility should come up here in a second. There you go. little delay. Their kitchen facility and their dining area and their lounge area and their medical services and that are all in the same area as where the rooms are. I think it's set up like in, I don't know what you call it, pods?
Yeah, pods. I think there's 32 residents per pod.
Are you watching comments? So, you know.
Yeah, as Anita says, it looks very much like the style for today's style for long-term care.
Yeah. And here's the shots of the guys putting furniture together in this area, but I assume this will be their dining area and everything. And you know, very bright, very cheerful, lots of light, lots of windows and everything. So I think that's important when you're stuck indoors all the time. And it's a fairly big area, as you can see. And I think there's something beyond this too. I think there's some like...
There's probably a living room area in there.
Now they have a microwave in here and like, I don't know.
Residents probably don't use that.
No.
They may have a cooking class where a group of them will do stuff, but they have that microwave and everything because they bring food up.
Yeah.
And from wherever they get it or whatever.
Well but then of course here though they've got like, so maybe for special events or something, because they've got, it looks like a fridge, a stove. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, well, you know what they did in my mom's home had that as well, right? And sometimes they got some of the residents together and they would do sort of like a baking class together or stuff. And sometimes they kept, in the fridge, they kept stuff for like a dietary, specific dietary things, items that, you know, the family could bring in.
Yeah.
For a specific resident or something.
Well,
they kept milk in there for cereal and stuff.
But I think what I like about this setup is it looks a little bit more like homey, like, not homely, but homey. Kind of more like a retirement residence than a nursing home. She'll be with a smaller group of people when she has her meals and things, which I don't know with my mother's case, but I think that would also help generate a little bit of socializing as well when, you know, they're not as intimidated. Because right now they're not going to the main dining room in the other place because of COVID. But, you know, in normal time, it was 200 people at every meal.
Yeah.
Where here I think...
It was like one dining room for 200 people. So.
I think this is only like about 25 people or 30 people.
32.
32, is that what it is? So, you know, I think that makes it a little bit more intimate for her. And this is just another shot. Now, wait, that's different from what we just saw. So
there's different, looks like they're different in different areas.
Yeah. Now this has got the lounge area and looks like their library.
That might be on the main floor. That may be a separate area for the main floor.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. But this may be as close as we get to see what all of this looks like. Now, how do I move these down? This way. Okay. So here's another shot coming up. I'm assuming this is kind of looks like maybe it could be the medical area. Or it's the reception. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's off on the same. That's on the second floor because you can see out the windows. So this... I know they're supposed to, they showed in the plans like a medical area and everything on the same floor with the rooms and stuff. Looks like that's some of the furniture. No, that's not the furniture. No, I don't think.
That's a bucket to carry the dead people out.
Throw out your dead, throw out your dead. If anybody knows the Monty Python movie I'm talking about, you'll get the joke.
So there's a view from a chapel. This is a Christian home.
Yeah. So, yeah, view from the chapel coming up.
So that's the main floor there.
Yeah, that's the main floor. So, view from the chapel. So, would this be the chapel?
Anita said one of them might have been the nursing office.
Oh, maybe. So, in here, this looks like this is the main reception and everything.
Yeah.
Which is a nice big area because in the home she's in now, it is very, very tiny. I wonder what that symbol means when I click on it.
Wow.
I don't know what that means. But yeah, there's another shot of the reception area, and I don't know what that will be, but... And I assume they're going to be covering that up. The pillar. So I'm trying to find the chapel.
Well, I don't know. It's in here somewhere. We don't know what they
Unless
call.
that's the chapel.
Unless it's the main area in the front here. Who knows?
I don't know.
Or maybe you just can't see it.
Well, maybe. What do people say? Are you watching chat?
Uh,
You're not doing a very good job.
Nursing office, maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's lots of things.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know. This is just what we've seen.
Yeah, this is the first glimpse we've had of the interior. We drive by the exterior and check it out all the time to see how they're coming along with it. So I don't know. I think they're aiming to... they put this out about a week ago. I think they're aiming to start moving the residents in at the end of the month, which is only in 2 weeks' time. So that'll be nice. The only unfortunate thing is we still won't be able to go in there at all with that. So, to get her stuff, like, they're moving her. They said they would do all the moving and everything like that. I don't know what that means when it comes to their connections for telephone and television. I still have to find that out. I was under sort of the impression, but I don't have it for sure, that they were going to look after all of that, and that we would be paying for that through them now instead of directly to the provider, which would make life a little easier. I would be happy about that, but we'll see. It'd be nice to be able to get into her room. So, well, they'll put up the things she has on her walls right now, but I mean, I'd like to be able to go in there and my sister and kind of decorate a little bit.
Anita's asking if we're in lockdown. Yeah, actually, we're in
we're
full
coming
lockdown
to that
again.
Yeah, we're coming to that. But anyways, I thought you might be interested to see what we've been talking about, and maybe you're not and you slept through it, but that's okay. So let me get out of this and return us. And there we go. We're back on. And I trust everybody can see us here in a second. You should be able to. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that piece of technology worked all right. All right. So anyways, and she's the same as always. I'm not sure. She'll probably...
we don't know when they're actually going to move her because
I already said
of the lockdown and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's going to put a wrinkle into it or what. So...
Well, they seem to be planning to move them in. It's like they've all had their shots. They've all had, 2 shots and everything like that. And the staff have all been, as far as I know, the staff have all been vaccinated as well. But they're not letting anybody from the outside in yet. So, I mean, if you're an essential caregiver, they've said what you have to do. They have to check you every so many days. You have to show that you've had a COVID test, like every so many days. You have to wear PPE stuff, all that kind of thing. So, but that's for people who go in and help feed them, and things like that. So I'm not considered an essential caregiver, and I'm not going to get on that because there's no point in that kind of thing. So we'll just see how things go. I mean, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. What are you working on?
Well, I'm still working on my quote because I only get 2 hours a week for, I mean, my class is only 2 hours a week, so you can only get so far in 2 hours, right? So last week was putting in the zipper. I screwed up halfway through, so I got behind. But yesterday I finished putting in the zipper.
Are you going to show?
Yeah, I will. And I still have to do some top stitching before tomorrow, but I wasn't in the mood today.
Walter was on Men's Sewing Day as well today. While I was up with my retreat, he was with the Canadian men quilters. Not many of them out there, though.
So, yeah, so here we go. I've got it together. I've got my zipper in. Not very good. Can't really see very well, but I do have the zipper in. It's there on either side, and it does work. So it's coming along. Tomorrow we'll be putting the sleeves in. So it's actually a little bigger than I anticipated, but we'll see once it gets done.
Oh, you'll grow into it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's coming along. And then I did
Hi,
today and earlier to fill up my time. I did another shirt. I did another shirt, and it's all done except for the buttons. And I put an order in at a company to get some new buttons, and they're kind of funky colors. So I wanted to see if any of these new buttons would match this shirt. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow before I put the buttons on. And then today I started another shirt.
Anita says I can see you out walking in your coat and hiking boots. Yeah.
And then I started another shirt today, but I just started it, so I started putting the front together. So they're all bright colors, which is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but you need to, if you're going to sew these things, I want them to look like they're something you can't buy anywhere else.
Yes, Billy, we have some new equipment that we're using on here, new things. So I'm glad that it's coming through clear for that. Yeah, I don't know how many of those shirts, though, are mine. He hasn't told me yet.
Yeah, so actually I'm getting good at doing the shirts because I can do them now without having to go back to the videos to watch how to put them together. So that's pretty good because it's going pretty fast.
Oh, Mr. Leon says that is a Porto Vallarta shirt. I can't say it.
Vallarta.
I'm not that. Okay.
That's not nice.
I know it's not. I'm not mentally challenged. I'm not handy capable. I'm not sure what term to use anymore for any of it, but oh well. I'm old. Yeah, so what else you been working on? So what'd you do all through your little thingy today?
I was finishing the yellow shirt.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to put the collar on, and I had to hem it.
Oh, okay. I'm just backing up here on before we go on. Anita said something, and let me see. I got to go back and see what it says. Speaking of shots, I've been absolutely exhausted since I got my vaccine. Yesterday was the first day I was back to normal. Geez,
wow, that's taken a while.
That's taken a while, Anita. I mean, I was kind of tired out from it for about a day, but that was all. But sounds like
that's
it hit
the
you a
first
little.
shot, though. But she had her second shot.
Oh, is that from your second shot?
Yeah, and she had the Pfizer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I've heard reports that the second shot some people have more.
I've heard
reaction
that some people have I don't know about the AstraZeneca, but I know that most people that I've talked to that have gotten the AstraZeneca, they said that they're a little bit tired or a little achy the first day, and I've heard that same thing from people that have gotten the Pfizer first shot because they said they were talking about it today. And
the shot we got just gives you blood clots. So what?
Well, yeah, but you can get blood clots from all kinds of other drugs too. Yeah, I know they're making a big deal about these blood clots from AstraZeneca, but the chances of you getting them are so remote. Apparently, you can get blood for ladies. You can get blood clots on if you take oral contraceptives. It has a high degree of giving you blood clots, and I don't see anybody getting upset about taking oral contraceptives.
Yeah, well, whatever. Marilyn says my second Moderna kicked my butt for 3 days. Well, anyways, I guess it's better than what could happen if you don't get it, right? So I guess this is something we just have to put up with. And he says, yep, 2 weeks, but I'm back to sassy now. Well, that's good to know, Anita.
You know what? Like, I mean, I guess a mild, you get it and you feel a little crappy for a few days. It's probably a lot better than getting, the actual COVID. I mean, you can get a light case of COVID where it doesn't do much to you, but then you can get other ones where it knocks you right out and you end up in the hospital. So
yeah, well, I don't know. Anyways, we're not doing so well here in Ontario at the moment, but we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But right now, anything else that you've been working on? you want to show us? Tell us about?
No,
Nothing?
I think that's it.
No, that's it?
What have you been working on?
Well, funny you should ask. Well, this weekend on the virtual retreat, I did several things. I did this. And this is my little retro rocket. Get around the right way with the ramp on it. I think it's so cute. I bought this online. I saw it, simply had to have it. And I finally got it done. And I think it turned out pretty cool. I did that. And today I was just playing around. I was working on some other things too. I was working on the mystery quilt for my ex-guild. And this installment this month, you had to make 100 half-square triangles, which is always a thrill. So I got those done too. And I did a purse. My little purse. Actually, this was just an experiment. I saw this on Creative Kiwi. It's all lined inside, and you do it in the hoop. Of course, it's not very big, but I just wanted to try it because I like doing things in the hoop. And oh, what's happened there? We went bluey. We went all pixely up on that one. But anyways,
Well, what's the initial on it?
Oh, it's supposed to be an S, and that was in the program, but it looks more like a G or a P or something. So yeah, I wasn't impressed with that. And it's supposed to be a crazy patch, and that's where you have.
See, I can see it on the camera, but that's an S.
I know, that's what they called an S.
It looks like how I write a G.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too. So I don't know. But anyways, I thought it was kind of fun because I like to do these kind of things. It's all quilted as well, all done in the hoop. You know, what am I going to do with it? Nothing. But the big thing this weekend I got done, I started this on Friday, and it's a 3D print, and it is a Christmas village. Now, I don't know how well this is going to show up because it's in white. I'll just move it in a little closer to the camera so you can get a better look at it. But there's a little choo-choo train down here. Oops, man, that's too close. Back it up a bit. Little choo-choo train down in here. There's little houses. It's sort of like on a mountain or something. A little church at the top, little trees and everything. But here's the fun part. And I don't know how this is going to show up. Is it showing up? The lights? There. It lights up. It's so pretty. It only took 2.5 days to print. But, you know, as I've always said, yes, you can, Mr. Leon, you can print, you paint 3D stuff. I have not yet tried that because it takes me back to the days when I used to make models when I was a kid. And I tried to paint those, and, well, let's just say they didn't look anything like they were supposed to look. Okay, it won't turn off. There we go. But anyways, I thought I'd get a head start on Christmas with that little creation. And what else have I been working on? Oh, I did finish, but I don't have it out to show you because in this setup it's not so easy. My quilt, the Carpenter's Wheel one, that I got it all quilted, it's all bound, and I did two things different with this quilt, and I'm going to talk about those in more detail on the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. But I put the layers together in a little different way than I usually do. I usually do spray basting, and this time I did spray basting and I pinned it. Pinning is the old-fashioned way of putting layers of quilts together, but there are lots of people who still do that. I stay away from it because it just looks tedious, but I decided to do it on this one, and guess what? I think I'm going to be spray basting and pinning future quilts because I didn't get any tucks in this one. Tucks are when the fabric underneath folds under, and there's not much you can do about that. And I didn't get any on this one this time. So I'm kind of impressed with myself, but I'm going to talk more about that when I show it on the Idiot Quilter. And I also washed it. Now you're going to say, you don't wash your quilts? No, I don't. My quilts never get used. They lay on the guest bedroom bed or get folded up, and they're sitting in a chair in a stack right now, which is kind of a waste. But I don't wash them because I've always been a little afraid of washing them. because I'm afraid the colors might bleed. Although, having said that, the fabrics today that are meant for quilting don't usually bleed, unless you got to be careful with reds and blacks. But I decided to wash it, and I used color catchers. They're sheets for that, and I put in 2 color catchers. I washed the quilt. It came out nice and fluffy, which accentuates the quilting on a quilt when you do the washing, and absolutely no bleed, and that was a good thing. In fact, I looked at the color catchers, and they were perfectly lacking of any color, so that means that none of the fabric bled, and so that's nice because it makes your quilt nice and soft too when you do that. So I think from now on I will go ahead and wash my quilts. So
yeah, I hate tucks too. You get them in sewing clothing as well. So.
Yeah, Wendy, you have to keep the backing tight, and the pins really help with that. I love to run my fingers, Marilyn says, along it. Along what, Marilyn, you dirty girl? I know what you mean. Yeah, Wendy, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond mounds, whatever that goes on. But anyways, now, one other exciting thing that I learned this weekend on this little retreat thing I was on. You know, the automatic threaders on sewing machines work about for the first week when you have a brand new sewing machine, and then they usually conk out on
Mine's working fine.
Oh, bite me hard. Anyways, on normal people, they usually back. There's a variety of reasons why that will happen, but one of the guys that was in on the retreat, he lives over in Holland, he was talking to me about that you can get the replacement part for it, and they're not that expensive, and they just pop on to do the automatic threader. So I started looking them up as to where I could get them here in our area, that kind of thing, and I came across a video where a guy was showing you how to fix your automatic threader. And so I tried his method. I fixed the threader. It works like a dream, and it wasn't hard to do. And Walter's embroidery machine, which I'm using right now while I wait for mine to come in, hasn't been threading either since I've been using it. So I thought, let me see if I can fix that. I fixed it. It was easy. It wasn't hard at all. So that impressed me to no end. I mean, it's a little thing, but I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, Anita says she learned this week the #1 producer of cotton is China. Somehow that's not a surprise.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
India's number 2 and USA number 3.
Well, a lot of batiks come from India or from Malaysia and places like that. And yeah. But the cotton that comes from China, or where they get it printed, there's quality control given North American standards of it. And I mean, if you buy a name brand like Northcott or
I mean, there's different grades of cotton that you can get.
Yeah.
You can get cheap cotton. You can get some pretty crappy looking cotton. But you can get some good quality cotton. Actually, the shirts that I make, I've been making out of quilting cotton. And I've been happy with the quality of the cotton, especially even like, I mean, I wash the fabric before I make it into a shirt. And it doesn't wrinkle excessively or anything like that. If it's a good quality cotton, it shouldn't. If you're buying a cheap quality cotton, it'll all bunch up, and there's no way I'm making a shirt out of that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is if you go to a place like Joann's, Michael's, or Walmart to buy quilting cotton, don't. The stuff that those 3 stores sell is not good quality.
Well, I don't know about what they sell in the U.S. in Walmart or whatever, but in Canada, the cotton isn't very good quality.
No. Well, I don't think it's any better in the States either.
Yeah, I don't know.
In that. So, but anyways, yeah, you get what you pay for, basically. And if you're paying, here in Canada, if you're paying anything less than $15 a meter, and that's actually cheap, because that's Shirley's prices at Ultimate Sewing, and her prices are really good. On average, it's more like $18 to $22 a meter for quality cotton for quilting. If you're paying less than that, unless it's on sale, you're probably not getting something that's that great.
I mean, in the sewing group I'm in, one of the ladies posted, this was a few months ago, that she goes to this store in another city, and they had really cotton really cheap there, and a couple of ladies went out and bought the cotton there, just for like doing insides of pockets and stuff like that. But then when they put it through the washing machine, it all not shredded. The ends frayed really bad, and it basically came out in a ball.
Yeah.
Right, and that's just cheap quality cotton.
Yeah.
Good quality cotton shouldn't do that.
Well, Marilyn says the only cotton that I will buy at big box stores is Kona Solids. Yeah, if it's a name brand like Kona, like any of the major designers and stuff like that, yeah, it doesn't really matter who's selling that. That you're getting quality. Andy says, what about Tim Holtz cotton? I saw it in Joann's Fabrics. Tim Holtz's is good quality because I buy it all the time. I've got lots of it.
I mean, we've been in a Joann's before, and we've noticed that there's some lower quality cotton there, and there is sections where they sell higher quality cotton.
Yeah, that's more expensive stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Mr. Leon says, quilting cotton is very expensive in Mexico. The meter is around US $15. Same with the batting. I buy my fabric from the US. Yeah, that's expensive. Marilyn says, really, never knew that about Tim Holtz at Joann's. Yeah, the Tim Holtz fabric, as long as it's if it's got Tim Holtz's name on it, it's original because he's a branded name. It is good quality. I've used it in the past, and I've got a lot of it actually in my stash.
Not saying that all the fabric at Joann's is bad.
No,
there's some stuff that's good and some stuff that's not so good.
Yeah, Wendy says frayed. Yeah,
no,
because you're trying to find your words.
Frayed, yeah.
Frayed not.
Frayed not. Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to. Well, you can tell when you feel it. Of course, if you're buying online
it's hard to tell.
You can't do it. So I stick primarily to brands that I know, to name brands if I'm buying it online.
Yeah, like Michael Miller and Northcott,
Riley Blake, Northcott, Kona.
I mean, you can pretty much have brand names. I don't know if the cheap cotton has a brand name.
Well, I have bought some from our Walmart here when I first got into sewing, into quilting, and it's cheap.
It's rougher.
It's rougher. It's flimsy too, and
it's not really any cheaper.
No, it's not.
Because
at least not here in Canada.
A fat quarter in Walmart here is the same as if you would go buy it at a quilt store.
In fact, in some ways, it's more expensive, depending
because it's lower quality.
Yeah, it's lower quality. So. Anyways, you got to watch for that. Okay, so what else? So this week on Sew Chatty, speaking of sewing, we talked about one of my other sewing machines. We talked about the Skyline S7. And by the way, we did that in a different way than we've been doing the Sew Chatty. I'm still experimenting with my equipment to see I'm trying to get the best quality I can in sound and picture. So anyways, and I think it turned out a little bit better this week than the week before that. But we talked all about that, the sewing machine. And I got a compliment actually today on the virtual retreat from one lady. She said that she watched our review of the 6700 and she bought one. She actually bought a used one. But it had been gently used in that. But she said she thanked me for us doing that review on it because she said she knew about it, but she didn't know that much about it. So how come we just got something that came up and said no data? But we're still trying. I don't know. Oh, it's just
it's that warning.
I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, so I guess the Sew Chatties are being helpful to people, and that's what we're intending for those. So I'm glad to hear that kind of thing. Okay, so as I told you, I was on Energize 3.0 this weekend, which is the Quilter's Way, the group I belong to. And we had a workshop. This was quite fascinating. There was a lady, her name is Heidi. I'm not sure how you say her last name, but it's Proferty or something like that. And she does, it looks like embroidery. It's a cross between embroidery and stitching art. What do you call it? Fabric painting kind of a thing, using decorative stitches on your sewing machine that you already have. What was really interesting was we look at a decorative stitch on a sewing machine and think that's all you can do with it, like that's it. No, she showed us how you can manipulate those stitches to customize them, to make them into something you want, simply by adjusting the width and the length of the stitch. And what are you laughing about?
No, I'm not laughing about anything.
Oh, that was back a while ago.
Yeah.
I was looking at that time delay, whatever. So it was really, really kind of interesting, and she does some really beautiful things. They look like artwork, like, well, they are artwork, but that was interesting. We also saw Kim Jamison Hurst, who is the owner and operator of the Quilter's Way. Her husband's her technical guy, and so he took us behind the scenes to show us what he has set up for cameras and things. And he has several. He's got a couple of DLSRs. And he's got a Panasonic handheld camcorder, and he had some lights, and he was talking about lighting. And we've always today our lighting is actually not bad.
It's not really sunny out.
No, I know, we're not getting that. But I'm always fighting with lighting. And so I went on to Amazon, and I'm supposedly next Friday coming from Amazon. I've got 2 lights. Now, they weren't that expensive, so I'm hoping they had good ratings. I looked at the reviews and everything. Like, it was like $60 for these 2 lights on stands and everything, and they have a diffuser on them because he talked about diffusing the light so that you don't get the shadows and things. Like right now, there's a shadow on part of my head on here, you know, kind of a thing. And, well, there's a glare off yours, but whatever. So I'm hoping that will work out too. It would be nice to have a real studio. Angel says, our Walmart sells Waverly Fabrics. I don't know Waverly Fabrics at all, but you know,
it's hard to tell because our Walmarts are
different from the
American
Walmart.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know. I haven't been a U.S. Walmart in quite a while, so I don't really know what kind of stuff your Walmart sells.
But the Walmarts are very...
the Walmarts here only sell fat quarters. They don't sell
yardage,
fabric and yardage, so that you can measure it out or anything like that. And so all you can get is fat quarters, and it's limited stuff. And it's, in our case, it's not very good quality, and the designs are not very... not ones that really I would pick out.
No. But so I don't know.
I mean, at a pinch, if you need something.
Yeah. In the States, I think there's a better selection in the Walmarts because there's a better selection of all kinds of things in the Walmarts in the States.
Yeah,
and in Costco's and everything.
Our stores tend to be a little cut down.
Yeah.
Waverly decorator fabric.
Oh, fabric weight. So, decorator fabric, Anita, do you mean like stuff you would use to make drapes or things like that? Donna says we have yardage and yard and 2-yard pre-cuts.
There's stuff that they have in yardage, but it's not like it's not like you go out, there's a bolt, and you go up and you say, cut it. There's like a roll of yardage in a pre-cut roll that they have in some stuff, and it's limited supply here. I did pick up some fabric a couple of years ago that was upholstery fabric that I reupholstered some chairs upstairs with. It was a good price at Walmart, and so you just got to know what you're getting.
Yeah, Wendy says it's heavier than good quilt material. Yeah, I suppose. Well, what they're catering to is probably the person who wants, may not be a serious sewer. I don't know. I really don't know.
Like I know, I said I bought some fabric there, and it was on a pre-cut roll. I think it was about 3 meters. It wasn't that expensive, But I used it to recover some chairs upstairs, and it was actually
And it worked fine.
decent quality.
Yeah,
so
it's worked fine. So.
I mean, you got to kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You got to kind of know what you're. You got to have an eye for what you're getting as far as fabric is concerned. So
yeah, Marilyn says diffused light would be perfect for your chats. Yeah. Are you talking about my vlog, Marilyn, or are you talking about like what we're doing right now?
A couple of other videos.
Oh, you gotta get your body out of there. Well, okay, excuse us while we rearrange the furniture. Anyways, yeah, so, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that. I got my hiking boots, or shoes. They're actually shoes. They look like running shoes that we got, but they have a heavier tread on the bottom of them. So I've got the same pair as Walter's got. So now we can go tramping through the woods to get some exercise and things like that. So, last week I tried to show you the video, the slideshow of Parkwood, the place that was the big estate. That's a sort of a touristy kind of attraction here in my city. And of course we got black screen. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to try to show that to you again. I think I've got the bugs worked out. I'm hoping I have the bugs worked out. So I'm going to try that right now for you. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope this works. So
what's that?
I'm going to do Parkwood, the slideshow that I couldn't show last week. Okay, so I think that worked out okay, and everything. So everybody saw that, I trust. So we're kind of monitoring things here. Angel says, don't care for the cotton fabric shrinks has a low thread count. Okay. I meant for videos of you and Walter may need different lighting for your sewing machine videos. Yeah. Some of this is so like the Biltmore. Yeah. Yeah. Yay, it worked, right, Andy? Yeah, so I thought, you'd be interested in seeing that. It's the pictures don't do it justice because it is a very lovely property. And there's, like I said, there's an indoor swimming pool in there. There's a bowling alley, a small one. The hothouses are really interesting to see as well in there. And what's really nice, back in the days when things were normal, you could go there in the summer and have like lunch, a light lunch. You could have high tea, but you had to book that in advance to have a high tea out on where that big reflecting pool is and the whole bit. And a lot of people have their weddings there because, you know, it's very picturesque and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and provided they're not filming anything there on a day, you can just walk in and walk around the grounds and stuff like that. There's no charge.
There's no charge for that. There is a charge if you want to go inside the house because they give you a guided tour. You're not allowed to just walk around the house on your own, kind of a thing. So, is there any family left in the area? And the video is great. Oh, thanks. Yes, there is family in the area, but they are old.
Yeah, and they're all...
There's grandchildren, but they're all adults. And see, Colonel Sam, you saw a picture of him there in the slideshow. He was 100 when he passed away, and he passed away in about 1970 or 71, I think it was. Like, all of his children are all gone now, and there's probably great-grandchildren and things, but of course...
Didn't they will the property to Oshawa?
Yes, they willed the property to the city of Oshawa, and the city of Oshawa looks after, actually, the ladies' auxiliary of the hospital, which he gave all kinds of money for, they look after the museum part of it. It's always, we go every blue moon kind of a thing. I like the history. I like hearing the history and everything in there about it.
Actually, it's kind of neat when you see a movie and suddenly you realize that they filmed it at that location. So
yeah. So if you ever come to our city, to Oshawa, that's the main attraction. Okay, there are of course other things in Oshawa you can go to see. There's the art gallery.
We'll have to take a drive down to the lake and sometime.
Yeah, there's the lake. We're on a lake, so yeah, we should.
We're on we're on one of the Great Lakes north.
We're on Lake Ontario.
Ontario, yeah. So we have a port in the area that we live in. And it's not a big port, but it's there. And so there's a big park down by the lake. We don't go very often, but there's a beach, but I don't know if I want to swim in the lake.
No, you don't. The lake is not the freshest thing here. Mr. Leon says, I'm planning to visit Quebec this coming autumn if it's safe and open to travel. Have you ever been before, Mr. Leon? Quebec, and when you say Quebec, do you mean Montreal or Quebec City? We've been to Quebec many, many times over the years. Montreal is English speaking, and it's very metropolitan kind of a thing. Quebec City is more European in style. So if you can't afford to go to Europe, but you live close to the border and you can get to Quebec City in a few hours or whatever, it's nice to go and see it because it's got a totally different atmosphere from any place else in Canada, really. It's got that very French, very European kind of thing to it. And it's very historic too, Mr. Leon. So you're going to...
In Quebec City, most people speak French. Or Quebecois, actually, which is a type of French.
Quebecois. It's a dialect of French. It's not Parisian French. But they understand Parisian French. But it depends on the political climate when you go. Because every so many years, the separatists raise their ugly heads and start fighting our bilingual language laws. And you'll walk into a restaurant or into some place, a store or something, and you may start speaking English. They'll only speak in French, and they're doing it on purpose.
If you're in the tourist areas, though, they usually switch.
Well, they do, and they don't. Remember the time we went, and they immediately pretended they didn't understand us. Well, they did understand us. Now, we have a certain amount of French background as well because we're a bilingual country, but our French is Parisian.
I'm not very good with speaking it.
We can read it.
We're a little better at reading it.
Mm-hmm. Because everything in our country is in 2 languages.
Jenny,
is printed.
I can't remember how much the cost is to go through the home,
No.
but I don't recall it being
it wasn't terribly expensive. It might have been at the most $10, $11 Canadian. I don't know. I can't remember last time when we paid. It might not have been that high. I'm not sure. I had no idea your city was this big. Well,
actually, it isn't that big.
It's 160,000.
It's 160,000, but we live about 30 or 40 minutes outside of Toronto. So, and basically, it's become that it's almost one big city from Toronto to where we live. So it's they're all linked together, and it's the cities are all pretty much linked together. So we have a bunch of communities next to each other that ends up feeling like it's this big city. So
yeah, Mr. Leon says I will speak Spanish. Yeah, that'll throw them for a loop. Hi, Chris.
It might be better. It might be better for you than if you speak English.
Yeah, Chris is here.
Hi, Chris.
And it's been a while. Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Cheryl says, after COVID, Quebec City may be happy to have the tourists back even if they speak English.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much their major industry is tourism. So, yeah, Billy says, we have a lot of French speaking in Louisiana. Love their dialect. Okay, the French that they speak in Louisiana is actually Creole. And it's different from Quebecois. It's another dialect of French as well.
I thought it was more linked to
to Acadian.
Yeah, to Acadian.
Acadian, yeah, it could be, but Acadian French too is different from Quebecois.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all dialects, you know. And he said, I went to a bakery in Germany. I used a language dictionary to try to order pastry. Owner laughed and spoke in English. I must have said his pastry looked like a bacon strip by accident. I tried. Well, you know, that's the thing about anywhere. We've traveled a lot in Europe and everything like that. And in most cases, everybody will speak English to a certain degree because they learn it in school. Hi, B.
Well, not only that, like, I mean, my parents came from Holland, and I guess what they do in Holland is they don't usually... because the country is so small, they don't usually dub a movie or something. No. So what they do is they'll have everybody speaking in English and it'll be subtitles in Dutch. And so after a while, people just get used to listening to English and they get used to it.
Yeah.
But a lot of businesses in Europe are geared to a lot of tourists, and they will switch.
Money is the international language.
And in Quebec at times... even though money talks, sometimes it doesn't talk in Quebec. In Quebec, if you're in a touristy area, like in Quebec City and that, they tend to be less uptight about it. But once you travel out into the more rural areas of Quebec, you will find people not willing to speak English. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're right, Andy. It is important to try to be respectful of the country because, I mean, you are the foreigner in their country as well. The thing about Quebec is great. I don't want you to get the impression that they're very inhospitable or anything like that. They are not, but they are French. And if you've ever been to France, you'll know what I mean. It's poo-poo. You will have this, but you will not complain. I say, you eat this.
There
poo-poo.
Seems to be a real... with the French, whether it's France or Quebec, a real resentment towards the English language. So, and tend not to be willing to, even if they know it, sometimes they aren't willing to convert.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was an incident, and we went to France, it was 2004, I recall. And I had a bad experience in their subway system where somebody stole my subway pass. I'm one of these idiot tourists that actually accepted help from a French person, and they ended up taking my €80 subway pass
that we had bought before we even went to France.
So anyway, I went back. And told them at the kiosk in English, I said, somebody just took off with my subway pass. I want to buy another one. So I bought another one, and they spoke in English to me.
Yeah.
And then a few minutes later, we went back into the subway, and we were trying to figure out which way we were going, and I couldn't figure out what the sign said. So I went back and asked the same person that I had bought the ticket from, who spoke perfect English to me, which way I had to go to get to where I was going. And suddenly they decided they couldn't speak any English.
Yeah.
So.
B says different parts of France are very different. Yes, they are. And we're talking about Paris. So, there you go. Big city. And I think big cities in any place you go in the world tend to be, kind of the same way, a little bit colder and that kind of thing. I do not find the last time we were in Paris, the very first time we ever went to Paris, I fell in love with it. I thought it was beautiful. I thought I understand why people call it the city of love and the whole bit. But I've been back a couple of times since, and the last time we were in Paris, it was a day trip we took. We were in London, and we took the what's that, Eurostar?
Yeah.
Or whatever train that goes through the Channel to Paris, the high-speed train. And we're there for a day, and we came back. And I couldn't get back to London soon enough. I was not feeling very comfortable in Paris at that point in time. So I don't know what it was.
Actually, we found a huge, it was weird because we were in London, and I sometimes go, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
And we decided to take we always wanted to take the train through the Channel. So we took the train to Paris for one day. Yeah. And we were in Paris for a day. And we came back that night. Yeah. And it was kind of a fun thing to do. But it was weird because we saw a sudden contrast between London and Paris.
Yeah, tale of two cities. Really. But anyways, I'm not running back to Paris anytime soon.
Well, I mean, I think it's gotten, I don't know what it's obviously like now, but when we went the last time, it had become much busier with tourism than the first times that we went. So.
And there was a lot of panhandling that I hadn't noticed. I mean, any big city has a lot of panhandlers and beggars and things like that. That's not unusual anywhere in the world. But it just seemed like they were much more aggressive. And quite frankly, when we came out of the railway station, there were a lot of those type of people standing around. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little bit more paranoid in my old age, but I did not feel comfortable. I wanted out of that spot really quick. So, anyways, what was that? I saw somebody said, Jeannie said, my wallet was stolen in Notre Dame Cathedral. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You have to, as a tourist, you got to be careful. You got to know your surroundings. Anywhere.
I mean, I felt so stupid when my subway pass was stolen. I thought, what a tourist.
You're not safe in Canada either. I can tell you that. You go to Toronto, the city, they talk about Toronto being so clean. I don't know why they say Toronto's so clean. We've seen major cities in the world around, and Toronto does not rank up there as cleaner than them. The cities in Europe, like London, somebody might think for the first time there that London's dirty. It's not. It's old. But it's not dirty. Toronto's dirty. I mean, Toronto is dirty. There's garbage blowing around. So this idea that, Toronto is such a clean city. No, not really.
Of course, our Canadian friends will be upset.
Well, then they're stupid because they should realize it too. I mean,
B&D's in Britain, right? Or in Britain, in the UK.
Yeah.
And actually, we haven't really been to a lot of other than we went once years ago on a tour of Britain. And since then we've been to London a few times, and we do like London.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're getting it from the British perspective.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like how we have the Toronto perspective. But I wouldn't mind going back to. I always liked going to England, or UK.
Like London, I felt very safe walking around in most areas of London. I did not feel that way when I was in Paris.
No.
So I don't know. And it's not because of the language difference, because like I said, we can pretty much figure out what we need to figure out in French. But I don't know. Cheryl says, I don't scare much. I'm from Detroit and I love it here. Okay, Cheryl, that's someplace I will not go to, is Detroit. So, yeah, nothing will scare you. I'm pretty sure of that. But anyways, so you were talking back before, we were talking about dialects and about Quebecois, and I was thinking somebody mentioned also as an idea that we could talk about is the differences between Canadians, or what makes, Canadians different from other people in the world. Now, I don't know, I take it for granted that people pretty much know a lot about Canada, but this person said, and she was an American, she says, we don't know anything about you, really. Which, okay,
I mean,
we kind of understand that, because when we go to the States and you turn on the TV and they're giving the weather report or the news, they don't show Canada on their weather map. We show the States on our weather maps, but they don't show Canada. All we are is a big red or pink or some other blob above. So I thought, since we're talking about dialects today, which might be interesting, is something that Americans, every time you meet Americans and they find out you're from Canada, they say to you, say about. And I know what they're getting at, that we say about. We do not say about.
it depends on where you're coming from in Canada.
If you're coming from Newfoundland, you say about. But Isa buys the bills a boat, and Isa buys the sails it, and that's...
Yeah, Canada's funny because, well, we're such a big country, and in the U.S. it's the same thing. U.S. has different dialects. People in Texas speak differently than the people in New York City. And in Canada, the people in Ontario have different dialects within Ontario, and they speak differently sometimes than the people in BC or the people out in the East Coast. So
Yeah, so I don't know, but we do have certain words here. Like, okay, everybody knows, or pretty much, the big food thing. And Mr. Leon, if you're going to Quebec, you'll probably want to try this, because it is a Quebec food, sort of. And that's poutine. Now you're going to say, well, you said it wrong. It's poutine. No, it's poutine.
And we're probably still not even saying it right.
No, because it's French Canadian, and that's how they say it. It's poutine. But we all in Canada and in the States, we still will refer to it as poutine, but it's not. It's poutine. So there you go. You want to fit in and make the Quebecois feel like that you respect them? Order poutine, not poutine in it. But, it's words like that. But if you go out west, don't ever, ever say a word that ends in age as age. Like, for example, portage. They will tell you, no, it's not portage. It's portage. Portage. See, from us in Ontario, we tend to say it in the way, when we see a word ending in age, 9 times out of 10, we'll give it the French pronunciation, which is age, so portage. But once you get out of Ontario and you go west, they won't say it that way. They'll say it as portage. They'll say it as age, not age. So you have different dialects across the country as well. Okay, there's all kinds of comments here I'm missing. Stolen wallet. The stolen wallet was the wallet I expected to be stolen. My real money and cards were in a waist pack that I wore under my clothes. Oh, you're sneaky, Jeannie. That's probably a good idea. Till I got to know you and Walter, I didn't know anything about Canada. But Anita, you live so close, in a sense, to the border. I mean,
knew
Ohio.
maple syrup. Yeah, well, isn't maple syrup more of an Ontario and Quebec thing?
Yeah, but they have maple syrup in the eastern United States as well, I think. Ours is better, but they have it there. Yeah, maple syrup. Yeah, we don't drink it. Okay? Except if you watch the Cabin Boys from the Frozen North. They're two guys that do this. I find them hilarious. They do a knitting YouTube channel. And they live in a log cabin kind of a thing. It's
Cabin Boy Knits, right?
Cabin Boy Knits, yeah. And they keep saying they're from the from the, what did they say, the far reach
deep in the Canadian forest.
That's right, deep in the Canadian forest. They live in Sterling. Sterling is about an hour away from us, and it's east of us, and it's not even north.
It's right near our main highway.
Yeah, like it's close to the lake.
You're not that far from. You're not far from civilization.
Like far north in Ontario would be Thunder Bay, Timmins, you know, that kind of Kenora, things like that. Not Sterling. Billy says, not all Americans speak the same. They know I'm from Texas as soon as I open my mouth. Oh, yeah, the accents across the United States.
Well, yeah, I picked out Texas because Texas seems to have
more of a drawl,
distinct accent.
Hi, Pam. I've been in. B says it's been an education interesting to listen to your YouTube channels for dialects, but grammar use is appalling at times.
Yeah, well, my grammar use is awful. I've never been good at it.
Yeah, that's. I think I've told you this one before. Walter got me a birthday card one year, and there's two women sitting at a bar, and one woman says to the other, "Where's your birthday party at?" And the other one says, "Don't end a sentence with a preposition." So when you open it up, she goes, "Where's your birthday party at, bitch?" I used to use that in my English classes to teach kids not to use prepositions at the end of a sentence. Guess what they did? They put bitch at it.
We still do it. When we were listening to YouTube, it says, somebody says, "Where's your party at? Where's this happening at?" And it was,
we always had bitch to the end of it. Mr. Leon says, I found hilarious the videos on YouTube about Canadian road rage. Oh, why? What Canadian road rage is? What? Sorry, I cut you off. Anita, I knew ice skaters from Canada. My favorite sport. I live in Ohio. Never been to Michigan yet. Okay, you got to get out more, Anita. Really. Chris says we have different accents and pronunciation in Australia. Well, amongst the different states. Well, yeah, we know.
Yeah, we definitely know. Actually. I remember first arriving in Sydney, and we went to a place that sold hamburgers, and it was an Australian burger place, and I didn't know how to order. It was the first time we ordered, and the girl behind the counter used all kinds of short forms that I wasn't used to, and so I said to her, "Wait a minute." I said, "I'm from Canada. I had no idea what you're talking about." So she was very good, and she pronounced stuff a little better to me, but it's the short forms that I wasn't used to.
Yeah, the short forms were kind of there. But yeah, it's still English. We got through it. Actually, Australians have so many very interesting short forms for things. Like university is uni. And
was that tinny for a beer?
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of really interesting things. I think that's why I like Australia. It's another reason why I love Australia. But B says, your grammar use is fine, Walter. It's the changes of tenses, etc. His changes of tenses? I don't know. You know, when you're talking...
Actually, it's our the way we talk. English, it varies from country to country and area to area, and everybody has their own way of pronouncing things. So your specific area is, you tend to pick up those things.
Yeah, well, in Ontario alone, when I was in university, I took some linguistic classes, and apparently what I remember from that, and I don't remember a lot, in Ontario alone, we have over 33 different dialects of English, but they're very, very subtle. To give you an example, my family comes from still central Ontario, but a little bit more towards the east. And when you get a little bit more towards the east in southern Ontario, the accent does change slightly. So I never really realized that, except Walter heard my accent apparently change when I was around my family in that area. And, you know, they start to talk a little more like this, you know, how's your liver today, eh? Good day. Good day. Good day to you. And pass me a black label, Mabel, because we're going to have a beer. So I'm kind of exaggerating it, but...
yeah, but that's similar to what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. it's only when I'm with those relatives does my accent change.
Well, what was interesting was many years ago when I was a kid, visiting my cousins in Holland. Um, they were being taught English, and they had two classes in English. They had British English, and they had American slang.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of interesting to see because British English is different than Canadian English.
Yes, it is. Uni is common in the UK. I am not fond of shortened words. It's not your changes in tenses, Walter. It's a general thing on YouTube. Oh, okay.
Yeah, uni is I think also common in Australia, which it's not common in Canada.
Yeah, that's what I said. Where were you? Did you tune out? What was going on? Yeah, every area has their short forms for things and that. Actually, what drives me nuts about short forms is if you watch knitting YouTube channels, oh my God, they have so many. I thought quilting was bad, but they have a whole lot of lingo that is totally, and they seem to enjoy using all of the short forms for everything. At least the channels that I've watched. But anyways, kind of drives me mental. Me, it's because I don't understand what they're saying, but whatever. But yeah, so that's one thing in Canada. So depending on what end of Canada you're traveling in, you're going to hear things said in a little different way. Except Newfoundland. If you go to Newfoundland, you will not understand.
You may have trouble understanding their English because it's very their accent's very thick and it's very sometimes difficult to understand.
Yeah, Chris, I know how that is. But in fact, we have never been to Newfoundland. It's the only place, except for the territories, that we have never been in Canada. And we do want to go there someday. I hear that we know Newfies. We call them Newfies. We know a
That's
few of them.
That's probably a derogatory term now.
I think the Newfies call themselves Newfies. I don't know. But they're very, very nice people. They're very down to earth and,
Yeah, actually, I think they were pretty much descended from Ireland. Newfoundland is supposed to look very much like Ireland, so.
Yeah, the Canadian accents I heard on your retreat from Newfoundland. Oh yeah, I thought they were from Ireland. Yeah, it does have a little bit of that in it as well. But
it is very unique.
Yeah.
Language.
You have to realize too something about Newfoundland. Newfoundland is our youngest province. They did not become officially part of Canada until 1949. We became a separate country in 1867, and they didn't join the country until 1949. They were kind of holdouts. But Newfoundland is kind of a unique province. That's why I kind of want to go there.
They often call us the mainland.
We call it mainland because to get to Newfoundland, you have to fly or you have to take a ferry if you're driving with a car. And the ferry ride is not an hour or two. It's
an overnight
trip. And it's quite expensive to get there. He says, dialects are fine when teaching, but correcting short forms is a nightmare. You would have found translating someone from Belfast or Glasgow. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, we've been to Belfast, and we have been to Glasgow, and yeah, accents are very heavy. But there's even certain parts of, London in the area around that where you get into accents.
If they start talking fast, then it's difficult to...
We watch a lot of British television, though, and shows, so...
I mean, even a small country like Holland, the area that my parents were from had a distinct dialect when my parents moved to Canada. So my parents always continued to speak that dialect. They have since changed the dialect to what the Dutch my parents spoke was more like a farmer Dutch. And... the dialect that then there's proper Dutch, and they've changed to a proper Dutch, and I understand it, and probably can't speak it very well because I revert back to the dialect, but I understand it. But the people that are in the proper Dutch dialect won't understand me when I'm speaking it, because one, I've got an English accent, and second of all, I'm speaking a dialect that's no longer being used. So
Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, to bring it back to this discussion as to things about Canada, you cannot characterize a Canadian by the type of English they speak, because we're such a vast country and there's so much space between each one of our provinces that each province has probably got its own unique accent or expressions. Ms. Johnson, what's the political relationship between Canada and the UK? Can you Canadians? I'm not sure what that line means, but our political relationship between Canada and the UK, we are a separate country. We were part of, well, we're still kind of part of what's left of the not the United Kingdom, of the British Empire. Can you live in the UK? Yeah, we could live in the UK.
No, actually, we don't have dual citizenship.
Well, no, we would still be, we can't just go over there. No, but our roots are British and French. That's why we have the two languages in this country. But our ties to the UK are still relatively strong, but more on a symbolic relation. Like we have the Queen, the same as them, but she doesn't have any control over anything in our country at all. In fact, I think we need to get rid of her. I don't mean like get rid of her as in knock her off, but I mean like that is very archaic. Because she has no control. We do supposedly have royal consent for laws and things like that, but that's done by the Governor General, who's the Queen's representative. But the Governor General's Canadian. It's just tradition, really, and it's one of those things I think that we need to really just get rid of. Yeah, we are glad we're a separate country, B. But we still have an affinity to the British people.
I mean, it's weird because my parents are Dutch, but I still sort of feel like the country still sort of is associated with UK.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the UK, it doesn't feel that foreign to me.
Yeah, Chris, it's the same relationship that Australia has with Britain as well.
It's like going to Australia. You're a different country, obviously, because you do things differently and you speak it slightly differently. But it's sort of like that same sort of familiarity because you have British roots.
Yeah, and you see, we never actually separated from Britain, not like the Americans did. They had the revolution, the whole bit. We didn't have any kind of revolution where we severed our ties severely with the UK.
It's also the way our government works too.
Our government system is based upon the British system of government as well. So we have all those traditions still. And even in our language, if we bring it back to that we're talking about, we speak primarily what would be referred to probably as the Queen's English.
So things like spelling. You like the way we properly spell the word color is COLOUR. And
favorite and favor and that kind of thing. Whereas Americans got rid of the U on that kind of a thing. I mean, it's a little thing, but it's our connection to the UK that we've held on to in that way. But in the big scheme of things, politically, the British have no more effect on us or control on us than they do on the Americans, or for that matter, most countries in the world with it. Yeah, color versus color. Whilst, another one that I always notice. Whilst, another one.
We don't use whilst.
We don't use whilst. Not whilst. Canadians.
No, not Canadians don't.
Unless I'm teaching Shakespeare. Whilst he marched into the
most
forest.
Most of it's like our spelling. Mm-hmm. Like And maybe certain words like we'll say foyer instead of foyer.
Yeah, that one's a. We always know American when they come up, because when they say, yes, I was in the foyer of the hotel, foyer, and
I
that's
don't know. I'm not sure. I can never get this straight. There's napkin and serviette, and I can't remember.
Serviette is French.
Yeah,
Napkin is the other way. That's where it comes from. Serviette is actually French, but we use that. I just thought about this over the weekend. When the Queen Elizabeth passes, it may be many, many years before there's another queen. Yep, that could be. I think the old girl's hanging on anyways on there, because I think she's afraid that the monarchy may be on its last legs if she goes with it all. Because the next generation, I don't know. My entire lifetime there has been a queen. Yeah, same with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All we've known is a queen. Oh, there's been so many queens in my life, I can't count them. Usually they do drag. But yeah. Well, anyways, she's probably not a happy queen right now. Or maybe she is. Philip is gone. Yay, I can party. Come on, Andy, let's get out there and have a good time. Show Mama the way. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so that's our time, people. So, and we pretty much avoided talking about COVID. So that's pretty damn good. So, if you've got any suggestions for what else we can talk about in terms of what do you want to know about our country? And what we don't know, we will make up.
And I've never seen a polar bear other than in a zoo.
Well, we don't go that far north, that's for sure. The next female queen is a long way off. Yep. Nobody in line for that one. Yep. True. Okay, everybody. So if you've got some suggestions, let us know. Send it to me.
Is there a possibility of a male queen?
Next female queen. The next female queen is long way. Well, yeah. I don't know. Oh, Edward's never going to make it to the throne because he's not even in line for it. But that's a story for another day. Okay, and probably only B got that. All right, so we'll see everybody again, and yep. Thanks for dropping in, Chris. It's nice to see our Aussie connection. We always love that. Okay, everybody, have a good week. See you next week, if not before. Bye-bye.